ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a horror movie from 2003. That movie is Jeepers Creepers 2. Now, for those of you who missed my video last week when I covered the first Jeepers Creepers, I'm going to sum it up for you. That first movie was garbage. About the only thing interesting was our villain, our demon, I guess he's called the Creeper. And even he is no longer cool by the start of the third act. That first movie was crap. It really, really was. And I know, and I know the sad history of sequels. Sequels almost never live up to the quality level of the films which came, before it. So I am dreading this thing being somehow worse. However, it could still be better. And I said when I covered the first one that we had a fantastic we had an awesome concept. It's just that it was hobbled by terrible writing. If this thing has halfway decent writing, it could very well save this, franchise for me. It still isn't going to save the first one for me, but it could still be better. And the only way I'm going to find out if it is better is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Jeepers Creepers 2. So the Creeper now has throwing stars to wipe out these cars. What the hell happened to just using his rusted out truck and running them off of the road? I mean, I totally understand that would be a challenge if you're trying to knock out a school bus, but I just don't see this creature being the kind of loser who uses throwing fucking stars. Just seems a little off to me, guys. How the fuck can you tell that is a belly button? It barely looks like a belly button. Jesus God. Alright, so apparently the Creeper or the Creeper Demon, whatever the fuck he's called, has made more of these ninja stars. One of them was made out of Justin Long's belly button. And apparently the driver of this bus is able to friggin', identify a hole in the middle of a small patch of skin as a belly button just quickly as hell. That doesn't make a lick of sense at all. And I really am hoping for this movie to get better, guys, because so far it really sucks. Guys, this whole movie would probably be a hell of a lot less painful if there was even one fucking character on this goddamn bus who was even in the slightest bit likable. And right now, at this point, we don't have one. There are maybe 3 of them who actually have a personality which happens to go beyond basketball player or cheerleader. And even those 3 characters are just absolutely all unfucking likable. I would love it if the Creeper would just set this entire bus on fire, kill all of them, and then the next hour is just him eating their fucking corpses. That to me would be far better than having to listen to all of this idiotic fucking, drama whore bullshit any further. I hate every one of these characters, and it's making a bad movie infinitely worse. Alright, guys, so now our batch of idiotic lead characters here are all trapped inside this bus, and they see no way of getting out. And not 2 minutes prior, every window on the bus shattered outward, and none of them are so big that they couldn't fit through a fucking bus window. So why the fuck do they think that they are trapped when each and every one of them could just crawl out of one of those bus fucking windows and just start running? I believe I can tell, and I can tell you why. It's because all these characters are idiots, and the person who wrote it really thought that it would be awesome for the windows to shatter, and never really thought that it gives everybody the easiest way out. And instead, they all just think that they have to pry open a fucking door. God, guys, I personally am feeling stupider with every passing second because this movie is clinically fucking retarded. Okay, this is probably a really odd question, but damn it, I kind of have to ask. Why the fuck would a farmer have a very large and fully functioning fucking gun in the middle of nowhere? Like, seriously, guys, this farmer's got a giant harpoon gun mounted onto his truck. There is no earthly way in fuck he built that thing in one day. So now I need to know, why the hell would he have it? Because they obviously are nowhere near a fucking ocean. What purpose would a farmer have with a giant harpoon gun? This is really just, this guy's really just bringing up more and more questions, which I know this movie is too stupid to answer. So, let me see if I understand this. We know that you can't kill this fucking thing. So, instead of trying to stab down his arm so that way he can't try to pull out the, thing you shot into his head, you're going to repeatedly stab him in the chest. If you just stab him in the arm and you leave him there, he's guaranteed to fucking die. I don't think he's going to be coming back if you can stop him from pulling the shit out of his fucking body. I swear, guys, if there was even a single character in this movie who had even the slightest bit of brains, this would probably be at least halfway decent. But no, every character is as dumb as physically possible, and the movie is getting more and more insulting with every passing minute. Well, guys, that was Jeepers Creepers 2. Let's shut that off. Jesus fuck. Okay, I asked a question earlier, and it was very quickly answered afterwards, but it still leaves even more questions. I questioned why the farmer had a harpoon gun, and it was a homemade gun. Now, it was made out of a post. It was made out of a post, puncher that we saw him attempting to use earlier in the film, except it was broken. Now that happened, at least according to the on-screen text, on day 23. On day 22 rather, of the demon, the creeper, again, whatever the fuck its name is, on its 23-day feeding, fest. Happened on day 22. So that means that within 24 hours, he was able to take his broken post, puncher, he was able to fix it, was able to modify it into a harpoon gun, was able to firmly bolt it into the back of his truck, was able to make a couple of homemade harpoons out of it. And not only that, he's also a sharpshooter with the fucking thing. So, yeah, he did all of that. He was able to build it and also was able to become a crack shot with it within 24 hours. Which, you know what, guys? Now, if everything else in this movie were good, I could probably have discounted that, and I could probably have suspended my, disbelief long enough for that to work. But, considering the fact that everything else in this movie is total shit, it seriously is just another problem that gets piled up on top. I wanted to cover that before you guys started posting in the comments as to how he got the gun. And most of you probably have, because a lot of you don't know how to watch an entire video before posting a comment. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the writing. I really thought that the writing was bad in the first one, and it totally was, but when you take your number of targets and you up them from 2 to around, I'd say about 20, the writing gets worse. Now, our two leads in the first Jeepers Creepers were, shallow and pointless and unfucking likable as it is. This thing is written and directed by the same guy. And he apparently thought that he could write for a larger cast of targets for this demon to fucking hunt for. And he fails miserably there because None of them have any personality, except one of them is a nerdy towel boy. One of them is I guess is the team fucking reporter. Is probably gay and has the hots for one of the players. One of the cheerleaders is having vision dreams where she's hearing from Justin Long because the movie just wasn't shitty. It wasn't because the movie wasn't shitty fucking enough as it is. We have to have Justin fucking Long's presence come in and ruin it just a little bit more. Oh, and we've also got another guy who is a complete and total douche. Beyond that, in terms of all of the characters that we focus on, especially since the bus driver, the coach, and one other fucking adult on the bus are all killed off in almost record time. We then are left with those few sterling and ultra deep characters, and everybody else is either a basketball player or a fucking cheer leader, and there's no real character beyond that. This movie, guys, is just incredibly shallow on that. They also attempted to. And they also attempted to broaden the whole story about this demon, where he honestly is not just a being who feeds whenever. No. He now has this fucking like prophecy where he feeds for 23 days every 23 summers, or my fault, every 23 springs. It sounds incredibly fucking stupid. And it would probably have been cooler if he was just a demon who feeds based totally on the smell of his targets. And they still kind of sort of hint at the whole scent thing, but it also is kind of sort of thrown out because he's basically hunting everybody. Excuse me. So they basically have tried to add even more depth to the creature, and it just sort of makes him a little bit less threatening because, then you can just basically hide from him until the fucking, 23rd day is done, and then you win. It really just felt like kind of a lazy ass way to try to it was sort of a lazy way to attempt to somewhat fucking fang a creature that was already barely threatening. And they also tried to broaden the fact that this creature is kind of sort of a fucking artist, and they kind of hinted at it in the first movie when he was making friggin' like tapestries and was carving things into like tables, and and we see all of that, and now he's gone from that to he's making weapons out of the fucking like body parts, and all of them are very very like beautifully like carved and stitched and everything, and they all look real like artsy and classy and shit. Which means that now the demon has to use weapons instead of just using himself, which is all he needed in the first movie. It seriously just once more is kind of sort of a way of defanging this creature, when the creature wasn't even that threatening or scary in the first place. The only other characters we have outside of the demon and the fucking special ed basketball team is a farmer and his son, who are hunting down this, demon because they took off with the fucking youngest son of this family, which is why the farmer is able to take his broken post, puncher, and is able to fix it and turn it into a fucking harpoon gun and become a master marksman with it within 24 hours. That is the only reason why they are there. Otherwise, they would serve no purpose being here. This movie, guys, is just very, very lazily done in terms of writing. And when your writing is this lifeless and shit, then naturally the acting is going to suffer. And I'm going to tell you right now, nobody here turned in any effort. Oh, wait, and I forgot one other thing about fucking writing. The closest thing we have to tension amongst our characters is shit that is too fucking trivial for for teenage fucking dramas, alright? This, okay guys, now this stuff here is so fucking juvenile and shit that it seriously would have been fucking, that it seriously would have been turned down as a script for something like, let's say, like Gossip Girl or 90, or fucking like Beverly Hills 90 fucking 210. This shit here is terrible. It's cheesy, it's stupid, it really just makes every single character a whiny fucking drama whore, and it really makes all of them even less friggin' likable. So yeah, all of that covers, you know, writing. And when your writing is that bad, as I said, the acting is probably going to suffer. And it really does. Nobody here fucking cared because the script was that shit. So nobody here put in any, you know, kind of effort, and all of them are phoning it in. And it's painfully obvious that none of them really wanted to be there except to pick up a fucking check. So the acting here is shit. Special effects are still at least halfway decent, but then again, that's because the only things we really have for special effects are the Demon. And the Demon is now doing other things besides just, you know, like taking off his jacket and we see a loose-fitting rubber suit. Now he's able to re-fucking grow his head, which was probably the best friggin' shot in the entire movie, or rather like the best scene, is when the Demon has to basically rip off his damaged head, and then he re-friggin' grows a new one. It was really cool. And that's probably the only cool thing in this entire fucking movie. Music here is decent, and lighting here is fine, and camera work is good. Basically, guys, technical stuff, lighting and sound mix and all that are awesome, but everything, guys, that fucking matters, the writing and the acting, are shit. And they are so shit that I hated this, guys, because the writing was that bad. And yes, I do know that they are working on a third movie in this series. No, I am not fucking watching it. Now, so guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Jeepers Creepers 2? Fuck no. This thing somehow was worse than the first one. And I honestly thought that it would not be able to reach those sorts of fucking levels, but it is genuinely worse. This movie is a pile of shit, and so is the first one. And not only am I not bothering with the third film in this series when it finally gets churned out, but also, I would like to mention this, that I am also swearing off of the writer and fucking director of this movie. Because, I should mention, this movie was so fucking boring, I opted to do a Google search on the guy who made these movies. So I now know not only that he cannot make good movies, but he also has done some rather morally fucking disgusting things. And I am not watching any fucking more of his films out of sheer fucking principle. But still, the fact that he made these shows me that he is a talentless gimp and shouldn't be allowed near a fucking camera. Now, Jeepers Creepers 2 came off of the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is a YouTuber by the name of Humboldt Gaming. You can check him out at youtube.com/user/Humboldt Gaming. And dude, thank you, because I honestly was curious about both of these movies, and you went out and you bought them off the wish list, and you finally gave me a chance to sit down and watch them. And unfortunately, they were shit. And the thing that makes them just a little bit worse is I canceled the last two Twilight movies in order to cover these because fucking Twilight was just so fucking bad. And these things are almost as bad as those. So I still honestly suffered even having not bothered with the last two Twilight movies. But these things here could actually be slightly worse. And that's saying a lot. My God. Anyway, guys, once more, that is youtube.com/user/Humboldt Gaming. Now, God damn, I am just going to go find something else to watch. I'm probably just going to go browse around on Netflix, and I'll hopefully find something decent there. Good God, I certainly fucking hope so. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.